Hi everybody, welcome to Will and Will Arts. I'm Leslie and today we are going to make the burrow. I am starting with cardboard. Cardboard is a fantastic medium, doesn't cost you anything because you can get it from your boxes that you get in the mail. I'm going to start by making a basic box. This box is going to be an underground burrow where my bunny friends live. This burrow is going to have 2 floors, so I'm approximately in the middle. I'm trying to get it level as possible, but I'm not too worried about it because it's a whimsical, fantastical bunny burrow, so it doesn't really matter if it's very level. Next to making the stairs for the burrow, I am kind of just figuring out how to do these stairs as I go. Gotta be honest, guys, I was struggling a bit, and then I remembered, oh, hot glue. So let's get some hot glue in there. I remembered I wanted to curve in the stairs. So I'm going to cut away from here, and then I want kind of curved stairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lose this piece of this part. I didn't really glue it down here too well anyways. So we're going to take this piece out. I'm brainstorming here these stairs. I want these stairs to curve. I am just coming up with my own plan, but I have a way I want them to look a certain way. Let's just keep moving. So we're plugging away at this, and I'm trying to make a curved staircase, and I'll tweak it as I go. But here's the progress before. It's really fiddly, so it's hard to do on camera, so I'm kind of showing you steps as I go. I've got my staircase. If you want cardboard to curve, just score it on one side, and that will give you a perfect bend. So, I took these stairs and I chopped them in half. I wanted them to be set in and still have a curve. Time to paper mache now. Actually, before I start paper macheing, I want to get a approximate feel for the tree stump that's going to be on top of the burrow above ground. Now, we're going to get the paper mache. I am using paper towel, water and glue, and a paintbrush. And sometimes I actually add the paint directly to the water glue mixture to skip a step. But for this initial paper mache, I'm just using water, glue, and paper towel. So now I'm going to add the first layer of brown paint, and I might use a little bit of brown and black mixed together. This is supposed to be like underground, so it's kind of like the mud or the dirt. This is a configuration of multiple wires that I am going to turn into a banister. This banister is going to be made from roots that the bunnies turned into a banister from the roots growing from their ceiling of their house. I am going to add this first one, and then later on in the video you'll see how I do this process. The first one was a little willy-nilly, and it wasn't really great camera footage. So when I make the second banister for the other side of the stairs, I'll show you exactly how I did that. I am adding the different roots and adding tinfoil to where I want the root to be thicker. And then I use my glue gun to help get it in place. A glue gun is an awesome tool to get things going fast. I am going to work this in sections because I want there to be a fireplace in the corner, but then I want a root system kind of coming around the fireplace on the second floor. So I'm going to kind of build the fireplace and then add more roots as I go. So this is going to be a back and forth type of project. I am using a carton to build my fireplace. I am starting by just kind of getting this shape. This won't be the final layout. The curved part, I do want a curved fireplace for the opening, the hearth. Then I want a stone light look for the rest of the fireplace. And so I'm just going to get my layout, my base, and then I'll be doing added texture on top of this base. So friends, I think I forgot to hit record here. I am making the stairs out of what I'm calling pebbles. So the animals collected pebbles and they're making their staircase out of these pebbles. What I did was I took a hole puncher, threw an egg carton and punched a bunch of holes and then bunched up some of those holes so they were irregular shapes. And now I'm just basically testing out the look here, starting with a black base and then adding some dry brushing of whites and browns. I'm adding some dry brushing as well to the banister. The dry brushing is your best friend. As I always say, it brings out all the texture of your sculpt or your build. It brings out all the top layer of details and adds highlights to the shapes, and it's amazing. So you can dry brush with darks, you can dry brush with lights. I like to use browns and whites and grays. And then sometimes I even go back with a little bit of black just to add some shadowing. I was really happy with how my trial pebbles stairs came out, so I went ahead and finished off all the stairs with pebbles on each stair riser. Ooh, look, my sign's working again. It's very finicky these days. As you know, or as you may not know, I do not work in order. Right now, I'm going to work on my root system and my chimney because I want to have this tree stumps here and I want to have more of the root system kind of coming down like about here. If I do some of this root system, I might not be able to get to this chimney area. So we're going to do a few things. So what I want to do is work on the stone for the fireplace. These stones are my idea of pebbles, and this is going to be more like rocks. So to make your rock stones, you take your egg carton and you're just going to rip. You want natural rips. It comes out the best if you just tear it by hand rather than cut it. And I'm going to make little varying rock sizes. All these little grooves and stuff are going to come out great when you glue it together. So I just want varying rocks. I'm going to work my way from bottom to top. This is the fireplace and this is just like the chimney continuing through the floor. Hot glue is your friend with this project. Let's get going. To take care of any hot glue flyaways, little strings, just get out your hair dryer on a hot setting or your heat gun and you can melt those glue strands away. So what I want to do is add a little bit of black, it's basically black Mod Podge mixed together, black glue. And then that's just going to help seal it all together as well as give the underlining coat. I want this to be basically like a stone gray fireplace. We need the back shadow. So I'm going to paint everything I just did in black. Time to work on level 2. I also did that same black glue to the steps, the pebble steps. So now what I want to do is add some undertones, and to get cool undertones of rocks, obviously this is not a realistic scene because bunnies don't have fireplaces and whatnot. Just to make it fun, this is a fantasy bunny house. So we're going to add some undertones to these rocks. When you do this and you have some spots, like for instance right here, rocks aren't usually flat like that. So what you can do is you can take a piece of tissue paper and you can stick it in that spot, get some more of your glue, and you just kind of thicken the rock a bit. And it's going to look like a bigger rock. And you can do that in spots where you think, oh, that looks like paper, not a rock. And you just kind of fill in your spots. You can do this also with joint compound as well. I've done that in my Santa build. I did the same thing with my Santa cottage. I did this same method with joint compound. Both work, pretty much the same result. All right, now we want to start our first layer of dry brushing. I made some mostly mixed, kind of a darkish gray, and I'm going to take a beat up brush. Blush brush works great for this too, but this is what I have down here, and I'm going to dab my paint, and then I'm going to brush off most of it, and then I'm going to proceed to dry brush. We have our first layer of the dark gray dry brush, and then we're going to maybe add another layer of dark gray dry brush. Now I'm going to do a similar thing on this side, but I want these pebbles to be like a brownish pebble. I added a couple more layers of dry brushing to the fireplace, and then I'm also adding some dark layers inside the fireplace, because this is where the fireplace has a lot of soot and where the bunnies are cooking or relaxing by the fire, so this area will be darkened by the soot. I turned my box sideways and I'm starting to add some roots to the ceiling and adding some paper mache as I go. So I'm going to add the second banister, and I poke some holes in here, and I get this wire down here, and this is going to come down this way. So I'm just going to mess with it as I go. I want to show the whole process of how I did this because I found it really fun and easy to do if you want to get this look. I had my little bunny cut out of approximate shape where the bunny arms would be if the bunny was walking down the stairs on his hind legs. So I have this varying size wires. I have some thin wire and some thicker wire, and I just twist it around. There's no rhyme or reason. I want the roots to be like naturally twisted up. It's not going to look perfect. They're going to go. Some are twisted, some are braided. To connect the banister or the railings to each stair, because this is cardboard, I can poke holes in it anytime I want. So I poked a hole with a sharp tool, this is like a clay tool, in each step. And then I threaded the thin wire through the hole, threaded it through like you would thread a needle, then twisted the wire back up to the main section of wires and twisted it around. I did this for every step. So now each wire is securely attached to the stairs. I think this gives a really cool, unique, organic banister that would be underground. If there was a fantastical group of whimsical bunnies that lived underground, this was the type of banister they would have if they had a pebble staircase. This style also made it easy to add or take away any wires that I needed. If I felt like I needed an extra wire, I just twisted another wire in that place, and if I needed to remove a wire, I just snipped it off. So now I'm adding some tissue paper to the wire. I want it to bring it together with the root texture. Plus I like the look of adding a little bit more texture to the banister. You don't need to add tissue paper to this wire to make it look cool. This is just a personal preference and I think it's easy to do. I can also paint as I go because I have brown or black paint mixed in with my glue. Now I'm going to add more roots, more and more roots. I'm working on the tree stump now, just adding some tinfoil and some hot glue to hold the tinfoil in place, and then I'm going to paper mache that area.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
While that trunk area is drying, I want to add some more roots to the ceiling. So what I'm doing is taking some wire, wrapping in some tinfoil just to thicken it up, and then I'm going to make some more roots back there. And then I'm going to go ahead and paper mache that tinfoil roots because I just think it needed some more, especially with this guy hanging down. I feel like it just needed some more, so that just didn't look like this crazy root that was hanging down. All right, I added some more roots in there. And then I'm just going to go ahead. I got my blush brush, perfect for dry brushing. I added some more paper mache to the top of the tree trunk to thicken it up a bit. And then I'm going to work on the tree roots a little bit to just kind of bring it all together from the top of the ground to underneath the ground. And once that's all set and dried, I'm going to add some dry brushing to the tree trunk as well as some more to the roots. You can't ever do too much dry brushing in my opinion. Now I'm going to add some fine foliage and some static grass to my top of my tree stump and around the trunk. I learned that my static grass applicator isn't the best. It doesn't do the best job with long pieces of grass. It does okay with the short pieces of grass. It works. It works good enough, but someday I'd like to invest in a better one. All right, let's say that they wanted a little bit of coziness on their stairs. Just here and there, just to add a little bit of color, tied it all together. Get my little tray here. It's a little worn out where they walk. And a little bit's grown in the pebbles here and there. Ooh, yeah. I like that. So I added some moss up in the roots. I'm not sure if moss grows underground, but in this whimsical burrow, it does. I think it brings some nice color into the burrow before I actually add some more details with my decorations or whatnot I'm gonna add. I'm really happy with how this is coming. I think it's really fun and turning out really cool. To be continued. Thanks for watching, everybody. Part 2 coming soon.